Hi, my name is Valerie Kemp Davis, and I'm a member of Eta Kappa Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Eta Kappa Omega is here in East Chicago. I am currently the chairperson of the scholarship committee, and at this point in time we are seeking seniors to apply for our scholarships. We have reached out to Morgan High School, EC Central, Hammond High School, Bishop Knowles, Theo Bowman, and Gavitt. And so the deadline is on May 16th. You can find the applications for these scholarships in the guidance counselor office at your schools. Now, we had decided this year that we were going to do something a little different, not just award scholarships. And by the way, there are 5 scholarships that will be awarded. 2 for females, 2 for males, and 1 could be either for male or female depending on whether or not you have been accepted to a historically black college and university. That being said, we do encourage you to go to your guidance counsel office, get a packet, fill it out, and if you qualify, just follow whatever the guidelines are and get it in by May 16th. It has to be postmarked by May 16th. But back to what I was saying previously, we wanted to do something a little different this year other than just to award scholarships. So we started thinking about being proactive in our community in a different way for our youth. We wanted to reach out and to deal with other organizations who would partner with us in terms of education, life skill building, gang prevention, good community policing, good dialogue with our youth to see what's going on with you, to see what you want and how we can better serve you. So that being said, we decided to come up with a program. We're going to have a forum just for you. It will be held at East Chicago Central High School on May 20th at 1:30 to 3 o'clock p.m. It will be a number of people participating on this panel. It is called On the Cuff of Being Grown. I didn't say cusp. I said on the cuff of being grown. A panoramic view at the table of brotherhood. Dr. Martin Luther King said that we needed to sit down at the table of brotherhood and to discuss things and to be proactive, and that is what we're choosing to do. But this time, we are allowing you to be a part of the conversation. Now, Mayor Copeland has met with myself and other members of the community, along with the Deputy Chief of Police, and we have decided that this panel needs to have police officers on it, we need to have clergy members, we need to have people from organizations like TAG and Greenhouse Fellowship to come together and talk about what is happening in our community and to prevent things like Ferguson's or incidents like what just recently happened in Baltimore, Maryland. We don't need that here in East Chicago, and we're trying to be proactive for your sake, for our sake. So I would encourage you to make sure that you come to school on that day, though you need to come to school every day, but especially on May 20th, because we're going to have something exciting in store, something thought-provoking. We will have people who have been victimized. We have family members who have lost their loved ones to participate, and we want you to walk out thinking, doing something different, and feeling a little bit better about your community and having your hopes and dreams restored if you're feeling down about where you're at and where you're going. So that being said, I would like to introduce the other persons on this panel and this dialogue. And you know what? I think I'll let them introduce themselves. So we'll start to my farthest right.
My name is Edgar Covington with Tau Alpha Gamma, high school fraternity and sorority.
Hey, I'm Asif Summer, Executive Director of Greenhouse Fellowship. We're a youth incubator space here in East Chicago.
Hi, my name is Joy Gillespie and I'm a Greenhouse Fellow.
Hi, my name is Morgan Wolf. I'm the Associate Director of Greenhouse Fellowship.
Excellent. So what we're going to do at this point is to talk about individually what our groups and organizations are about, and after we do that, then we'll talk about how we can come together collaboratively and help our youth and let them help themselves, right, Joy? Mm-hmm. Exactly, to be proactive, to have better self-esteem, and to make better choices for themselves. We're at a very critical moment in our nation. We're at a very critical moment in our community. We know that our community is becoming gentrified. We see it every day. We know that the staffing pattern on the police department has changed. We know that there has been a lot of deaths in our community, senseless deaths. We know that it is a volatile situation if we don't get things in check. But we know that we have seen a lot of positive and growth since we have had our current mayor. We see that we have a revitalization going on. Recently we had the opening of the East Chicago Performance Arts Center, and one of the songs there was saying that we needed to raise up peace. And another song that we're recycling, and that's what we're doing here. We're trying to recycle our youth, recycle our minds, recycle our dreams. And I am so grateful that you all have joined forces with me so that we don't have to do this ourselves, that we can work together collaboratively. So if you will, Edgar, talk some about your non-Greek fraternity. You know, I'm for the fraternities and sororities, so if you can tell us what that is about, tell our youth what they can get from TAG through your organization.
Thank you, Valerie. My name is Edgar Covington once again. I am a co-founder of Tau Alpha Gamma. Tau Alpha Gamma is not only a high school fraternity and sorority, but it's also for young adults. With our program, we do offer scholarships as well, as Valerie said. We offer anywhere from $2,000 down to $500 scholarships. We do, if you get tested, you earn points. If you go get tested, you earn points. If you go to union meetings, you get points. If you go to city meetings, you get points. We have homeowners insurance that's free. All these programs are free for you guys, so take advantage of it. I'm in the midst of having 7 guys and 7 girls pledge for our second line. We do have a first line, so I want to congratulate them. And we also going into our second line on May 1st. If you want to join, you are able to join, fill out an application. If you are accepted, then we'll go from there.
Can I say something to you, Edgar? I wanted to piggyback on that. A lot of times, the image of sororities and fraternities is about the negative end, the partying and being youthful and frivolous. But I want you all to know that it's a lifetime commitment, and I'm so grateful for you having a non-Greek sorority fraternity so that the children become acclimated in terms of learning how to be service oriented, so that even though they have a good time and they have fun, they have wholesome fun, and they also are ready to look at a sorority or fraternity when they get to college, so that when they pledge, they understand that it's not about frivolity, but it's a lifetime commitment. It's about being service oriented, it's about being goal oriented, it's about community building and a sense of sisterhood or brotherhood. And so I applaud you because you're getting them ready for us. So I thank you for that. Asif, you want to tell us about Greenhouse Fellowship?
Sure. So Greenhouse Fellowship is a brand new organization here in East Chicago. We started in September of 2014. We take up to 10 recent graduates from Central High School that live in East Chicago, that care deeply about East Chicago, that want to see a new East Chicago emerge in their future. And we put them through a process of field work. They serve the community through social service agencies, but they also are in our office twice a week, building new theories and, more importantly, developing action plans. And I think this event coming up on the 20th of May is actually an example of how committed we are to serving the needs of the community. We're interested in giving youth a voice and, more importantly, giving them spaces to explore ideas that they are developing, to ask questions, but also an important piece to our organization is to also bring adults to that table so that they can actually understand the power of listening to and responding to the needs of young people. So that's a little bit about our organization.
Excellent. So Joy is a part of that organization,
yes,
right?
Yes, she is.
So Joy, what do you think about it?
I love being a fellow. I'm a Greenhouse Fellow because I graduated in 2014 from East Chicago Central, and I went through the application process. And right now we are doing different, we call them projects, but they're all getting new names, as far as things to happen in the community to make it a little bit more beautiful and just something to be proud of. Not as far as beauty as in picking up trash or anything, but beauty as in people respecting their own city and enjoying just being from East Chicago and finding ways to progress East Chicago. I had the opportunity to go to college, but I chose to stay here so that I could give back to the city that I love and I was raised by. So yeah, I really am enjoying being a Greenhouse Fellow.
Excellent. So, we have somebody else from Greenhouse Fellowship. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and how did you get into this and what are your hopes and dreams for this organization and the youth that you serve?
Yeah, so again, my name is Morgan. I work with the Greenhouse Fellowship. And I think in terms of this panel that's happening on May 20th at Central, I think this is a really great opportunity for young people to come together and have this dialogue that's really needed in their community. And it's at the core, this youth-centered kind of dialogue is what we really strive for at Greenhouse Fellowship. So it's directly in line with all of our kind of, hopes and dreams that these young people are able to achieve their own voice and turn that into action. So.
I agree. I also want to make another plug on May 30th at Iglesias de Diaz. We will be having our award ceremony at that time. Now that will culminate in the evening, but from 9 to 5:30 it will be a workshop. It will involve the youth in terms of the genders being separated. And one of our symbols as being an Alpha Kappa Alpha woman is the pearl. So if you know anything about the pearl is a hard substance. It endures, it's beautiful, its value is very rich and meaningful. It's priceless, and that's what we're trying to instill in our children, to be pearls, to be pearldacious, if we can coin such a word. So Shakespeare talked about to be or not to be. So on that day we have different workshop presenters who will talk about to be godly, to be educated, to be civic minded, to be legal, to be responsible, to be creative, to be beautifully you. So we will have a keynote speaker. We will also have someone who will put together a video that you can understand what historically black colleges and universities are. And that's one of our initiatives. I know that we have a lot of bright youth, and many of you all are 21st century scholars, but options are everything. So if you're doing great in school, but you might consider a HBCU, you need to know that we do give scholarships for that, and HBCUs do give scholarship. President Obama has an initiative right now for HBCUs, so I want to plug that because options are everything. You might go to a PWI, which is considered a predominantly white institution, or you might go to a HBCU. It is your choice, but choices are everything. So on that day we will have someone to talk about that, and we provide lunch for you, and then at the end of the evening those who apply for our scholarships will find out who are the wonderful winners. And we do appreciate every one of you who have taken time to fill out the applications and to get everything that we asked of you and to consider the essay and do it with excellence. So that being said, at this point in time I would like for us to discuss among ourselves what we see the problems are, not just in our community but how it has permeated in our country. It was very disconcerting for me to look again and see that we're dealing with another issue, and that's in terms of what's going on in Baltimore right now. I remember praying this morning and I said, God, people are living with fear. And I clearly heard in my spirit a voice that said, but I haven't given you the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Now that's really critical. If you think about no fear, having power, and having a sound mind. So I said that's really the crust of it, what we're trying to work towards, so that we can kind of put off some of those incidents that are happening elsewhere not to happen here, and more importantly that we kind of come to the table and talk about what can we do, not just locally but regionally and nationally, so that we won't be under martial law and any more of our kids won't die senselessly. And I wonder what you all think about what we can do. This is good, this dialogue, but what can we do, and what can we help our children do, and what can they do for themselves to make a change? Because we want to be game changers, and what can we do? What do you think?
Well, I personally think that this dialogue is, like you said, extremely important, and without the dialogue, we don't really understand like all of the nuances to what's happening. And once everybody is informed of kind of what's happening and are able to see like these root causes of what these kind of problems, so to speak, are, I think that's where all of this kind of change will start. So this is a really important first step.
You know, Morgan, when you say that, I don't think that it's just about bad policing. I think we have some systemic issues that's going on in our community. Poor education systems, issues of poverty, lack of jobs, feelings of low self-esteem, dysfunctional family issues, poor relationships with their peers, meaning they make bad choices on who they associate with. And I think it becomes a pressure cooker. And on any given day, any particular circumstances, something can be explosive. We never know when it'll go down, but I don't think it's just about police shooting people in the back. I think that there are some deeper issues going on that need to be addressed. What do you all think about that?
Something that I've been seeing and that I've been paying close attention to is the way that the information is being displayed. And as just far as me and my generation, I do think that we need to focus more on finding information and not relying on CNN and Facebook for things that inform us about what's happening in communities around the world. When it comes to the Baltimore situation and understanding how it happened, a lot of people, we're thinking that he was, shot or stabbed by a police officer, not even knowing the incident of him, just dying while in police custody. A lot of people are just going off of what other people are saying and not really finding information for themselves. And I believe that if you want to be an advocate for anything, that you should be well informed in all areas, your argument and on the opposing side of the argument. And lack of knowledge of the law is not an excuse. If you should not be able to say that you didn't know. And in this time, my generation and a lot of my little brother growing up, I feel that it's important for all of us to know what the law really is, to know your rights and to know what you are allowed to do as far as reporting a police officer and what you're not allowed to do as far as, cussing out police officers, throwing things at them, just to understand your rights.
But we have a program, Tau Alpha Gamma. That's something that we're working with. We have East Chicago Police Department, we have Gary Police Department, and we have Hammond Police Department. A lot of people here don't know the laws. I know some of my laws. I have family that's cops, and I'm reaching out to them to tell other people in my fraternity, the community. I have nephews, I have nieces here, and I feel that as if we work from our home base, if we work from within our home first, then we get the information before it get on Facebook, before it get on any social media, before it go to CNN. If we work in our community and stop worrying about other things that's out in the other communities. Our city is smaller, those communities are bigger. If we work within our community here and work together, I think all the information that we give on May 20th at 1:30, they'll have a lot of information on that. I do realize that there will be some officers there on the board. Mm-hmm. Okay, and they should be able to talk to them about the laws. You can go to any police department and they'll tell you a lot of things that's on their board that there's all type of laws on there that a lot of people won't walk into. They don't want to come in contact with the police. They don't want to come in contact with any politicians. I feel as us being young, we can reach out to our brothers and our sisters. We can reach out to the youth. We have parties, and if people respect us, you can pull them in and you can talk to them about anything. It's called gaining their trust. If you gain their trust and you talk to them about, look, don't do this, don't do that, they'll 9 times out of 10 they'll listen to you.
Can I make a comment based on what she was talking about, social media? I don't know if you all are aware, but that is how the riot began yesterday. There was a posting on it was a flyer posted on social media in Baltimore basically telling them what mall to go to and basically what time, and it just became a flash mob. And that was the way of the youth responding to the death of Freddie Gray and the funeral, and it went from there. Now what we're doing is going to be the same thing, but we're being proactive. We're going to use social media, and we're going to use Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook to plug our event, but our results are for a different reason, for a different purpose. And that's the power of social media today, but some people are abusing it. And so I would say that we need to be mindful of what we do, young people, when we use social media, because if you hope to have a future for yourself, you don't want to do things that are irresponsible, not just setting up flash mobs, but also doing things that might be lewd and lascivious, that might come against you later on when you are trying to walk into your destiny. So you need to be mindful of that. But I want to say, when you talk about what is the law, sometimes, and if we're going to really talk, sometimes people are operating within the law. So that means that, again, it's a systemic issue. If I'm an officer and I fear you, you make a sudden move, my interpretation of you pulling up your sagging pants might be that you're reaching for your gun. Or you're reaching for your cell phone because you're going to call your mom to say, hey, they stopped me. I might make a wrong move, and then the whole nation looks at it as it was racially motivated, when it was motivated, again, by fear. So, again, we need to know what protocols are. Not just what the law is, but what the practice should be, so that when we make our move, when we make our comments, when we make our statement, it is forthright, it is respectful, and everybody gets to go home. Even if you have to be questioned, you can go home, or you can live another day. I'm so grateful that everybody came out and had this dialogue. I wish we had more time. But I will say this, again, that on May 20th at 1:30 to 3 at EC Central, we will be dialoguing with our youth. We will air this at some point. I'm asking that you all please tune in, because it's going to be an interesting conversation. It's going to be life-changing, riveting, and proactive. If anybody has any closing statements, feel free to jump in at this point. I just want to make one more plug. May 16th, get those applications in, high school students, so we can get that scholarship to you. You deserve a great future.
Anything, I just would like to really urge people from my generation, people who graduated between 20, if you're going to graduate, to 2014, 2013, 2012, 2010. If you are under the age of 30, this is very important for you. This will be a chance where you can actually ask the questions that you always wanted about police officers. This will be a chance to be able to make sure that your little brother or little sister can live another day and not be in fear of the police, where they can want to be a police officer possibly. But this is a great opportunity for young adults.
Thank you all for listening to us today. Stay tuned again on May 20th. As I previously said, we'll be having this forum at EC Central, and down the road on May 28th, we'll be having a workshop for our youth. It was our pleasure to come before you. We thank you, East Chicago, for everything that you do. We thank all the service-oriented people that help our youth, and we ask God's blessings upon you and Godspeed.